At a public venue, Congressman McConkey makes a speech announcing his decision to resign as his term ends. Drew stands by his side. In the Quartermain kitchen, Sasha and Olivia watch the broadcast and comment on how good Drew is looking. Felicia, Georgie, Mac, and Portia are watching the TV broadcast from the side room. Felicia suggests Georgie, who is bored, go swim in the pool. She refuses because it's filled with boys. On the patio, Tracy watches the broadcast on her phone. McConkey says he supports Drew Quartermain in taking over his seat, and Tracy is stunned that he is using the Quartermain name. Back at the event, Drew thanks everyone, and confetti cannons go off. Israel's cowboys care for thousands of cattle as rockets and drones are fired from nearby Lebanon. At the Quartermains, everyone puts up decorations to celebrate Drew and the 4th. Felicia and Portia talk to Tracy about Drew's campaign and how she must be worried about all eyes being on their family. Tracy worries that if he wins, then it will be 2 years with eyes on them. Ned says they've been through this before when he was mayor. Tracy says being mayor and being a congressman are 2 different things. Olivia slaps a Drew Key for You pin on her and tells her to cheer up. Curtis arrives, and he and Michael discuss keeping Aurora afloat while Drew is campaigning and later when he has to go to D.C. Sam says it's not foregone that he'll win, but Willow, Jordan, and others are putting their money on Drew. Drew and McConkey arrive to applause. Drew thanks them all for their help and for McConkey's wisdom and endorsement. Nina follows them, and McConkey says he couldn't have done it without Nina's help either. Tracy blurs out, "Who the hell invited her?" McConkey explains it was because of Nina that he first met Drew. Tracy tells Nina, "I applaud your commitment. You didn't completely ruin Drew's life by turning him into the SEC, but pushing him into politics will." Nina turns and walks out, and Willow races after her. Drew asks Sam what she thinks about his running. She is more concerned about how it went with Scout. He says she's excited to be a Quartermain, though the politics she doesn't much understand. Sam seems off, and Drew says Kane was a name given to him by the government. It wasn't his birth name. Sam says it will just take time to get used to the new name. Dan interrupts and congratulates Drew, and he and Sam walk off. Willow finds Nina sitting alone in the side room and asks if she's okay. Nina sometimes forgets how much universal contempt people have for her, and then Tracy comes along to remind her. Willow says it's not universal, and Nina notes that's good to know. Nina asks how she feels about today. Willow says she's been disillusioned by politicians in the past, but Drew's made her feel hopeful about change. Nina admits she feels the same, which she knows is surprising given they can't stand one another. However, Drew's built a bridge between the two of them, which has made her see him in a different light, and made her realize she clings to grudges too tightly. Willow admits she's guilty of the same. Back in the living room, Mac is welcomed home by many. Laura tells him that they all missed him. Mac is sorry about Spencer, and Laura says it still feels unreal. However, today is a happy day. Ned is glad to be out of politics and not to have to deal with the Heather Weber business. Mac asks what business. Jordan thinks they should save it for another time, but Laura says Mac will learn eventually. She tells him that Heather may not have been responsible for many of her actions from a medical standpoint. Portia walks out, and Curtis follows her. Laura explains the metallosis that Heather was diagnosed with, and that her case could be reopened. Mac argues Heather nearly killed him and Felicia, and Laura was there on Spoon Island. Laura explains the theory is she may not have acted that way if not for the metallosis. Mac says the world is full of toxins that don't turn people into killers. Laura says neither of them are doctors, so she's going to leave this to the experts to handle. In the foyer, Tracy jokingly asks Drew if they've met, and asks what his name is. He says, "Drew Quartermain, do you mind sharing a last name with me?" Tracy tells him that a Quartermain always has her vote, and that Alan would be very proud of him. Sasha catches Nina stealing some cookies in the kitchen. Nina says she can't believe she didn't know how talented Sasha was at cooking. Sasha says she is full of surprises, and she's shocked Nina went to Drew's big announcement, given they didn't get along. Nana says something has changed between them, and they have more in common than they thought, and are seeing another side of one another.